Now, after studying about the various events for the sexual reproduction in flowering plant, we will study about another specialized modified form of sexual reproduction like apomixis and polyembryony. So let us begin with the apomixis. Apomixis is a specialized form of reproduction or specialized mode of reproduction in which seeds are produced without undergoing fertilization. Thus, in other words, it can be said that it is a method of sexual reproduction that mimics the sexual reproduction process. Thus, this type of reproduction process, that is apomixis, cannot be exactly defined whether as an asexual method or sexual method. And so it is considered as a specialized form. Such a type of such a type of reproduction generally occurs in various species of Asteraceae, and various grasses. In this, the plants that are produced due to such a type of reproduction method are known as apomictic plants. Thus, apomictic plants can be defined as the plants that are reproduced with the help of apomixis. Now there are various types of apomixis which helps in the reproducing, which can be either for diploid embryo or a monocot one. Now the apomixis process for diploid embryo are of three types. First, generative apospory. In this type of method, the diploid embryo arises either from the diploid cells of archisporium. Then comes the second type, that is somatic apospory. In this type, the diploid embryo arises from the diploid cells of either nucellus or integument. Then comes the third type, that is sporophytic budding. In this type, the diploid embryo arises from the diploid cells and these diploid cells can be of any other cell apart from mucellus or integument. That is, these diploid cells arises from any other cell except nucellus or integument, and such a group of cells from which the diploid embryo arises in sporophytic budding are known as adventive embryonic cells. Now these three types of apomixis is for diploid embryo. Now another two types of apomixis occur for the haploid embryo, that is for the haploid plants. It is very obvious that in such plants, the embryo that is formed is haploid in nature. On this basis, mainly two types of apomixis occur. The first is haploid parthenogenesis. In this type, the haploid embryo is developed from the unfertilized egg. That is, the embryo development occurs from the unfertilized egg. And the second type is known as haploid apogamy. In this type, the embryo development occurs from the embryo sac, that is, from any cell of the embryo sac, except the egg cell. Because the one that develops from the egg cell is known as haploid parthenogenesis, and that arises from any other cell of the embryo sac is known as haploid apogamy. Thus, this was all about the definition and the types of apomixis for haploid and diploid embryo. Now let us study about its significance. There are various points that come under significance. As studied, the apomixis does not involve meiosis, that is, meiotic division does not occur. and therefore no segregation or recombination of chromosomes occur. Since no recombination or segregation of chromosomes occur, it is useful in preserving the desirable characters for definite species. Thus, desirable characters of various species can be preserved in this manner. And definitely for indefinite period, that is the unlimited time. Apart from that, since no meiosis occur, there arises problem of evolution and variation within the species. Thus, the variation or the evolution of various species cannot be studied with the help of apomixis, since no meiosis occurs. Following it, in few apomictic species of the plant, that is obligate apomictic species, due to this reproduction process helps in maintaining the desirable characters for a long time. But no development of such species can occur, that is no growth and development. Then the second type of, that is facultative apomictic species, since both the asexual and sexual methods occur simultaneously, such a method is very useful in order to study the various aspects and the advantages of both the asexual and sexual methods of various apomictic species, and therefore this apomixis is useful and even disadvantageous for various species. After studying apomixis, then comes another specialized reproduction method in flowering plants, that is polyembryony. The name itself suggests that what does the term mean. Polyembryony means the phenomenon of development of more than one embryo in the seed. This type of phenomenon of reproduction occurs in both gymnosperms and angiosperms. The few species of gymnosperms like conifers and the few other species of angiosperms like plants of lemon, orange, mango, groundnut and onion. Such a phenomenon of reproduction occurs, which is a specialized form. This form of reproduction generally occurs due to presence of more than one egg. This egg cell generally occurs in the embryo sac. However, other conditions can also arise like more than one embryo sac within an ovule. As it can be seen from the figure, this figure depicts the polyembryonic structure in various species like ulmas and eulophium. As it can be seen from the figure, occurrence of more than one egg cell within an embryo sac or the extra embryo that is formed due to repeated division of antipodal and synergid cell forming an extra cellular mass of the embryo. Thus, the synergid cells and antipodal cells divides to produce an extra mass of the embryo cell, which occurs as a part of reproduction within the plant species, and this type of reproduction is known as polyembryony. Coming to its importance, this form of reproduction, that is polyembryony, is various important, that is play an important role in plant breeding and horticulture of various plant species. And therefore, new varieties of plants can be obtained with this type of reproduction method with desirable characteristics.